Hello, my name is Afradu Salmon Mwijage from Educare Tanzania. Welcome, Form 1 student, in this class to proceed with our second topic according to our syllabus. On the last session, we ended on looking the different stages of evolution of man. We saw those 5 stages, and we saw the definition of evolution of man. We saw the characteristics of each stage, as well as the basic characteristics of evolution of man. So let us go to another area, which is so-called the changes in technology, or the technology which has been changing, as we have seen in our topic, that evolution of man, technology, and the environment. So this is just the evolution of technology or changes in technology. So by starting with the Stone Age. So we are going to look on Stone Age. Stone Age is the period based on man's economic activities and type of the tools used. It means that Stone Age is just the age is the period based on man's economic activities and type of tools used. So that's why we say that Stone Age. It means we are going to look on the man's economic activities and the type which used by that age or that period of time. For example, Stone Age, Iron Age, Science and Technology Age. So we are going to deal with our concern, which is Stone Age. Stone Age, this is the historical period in which man made and used the stone tools. It means that the Stone Age, this is a historical period in which man made and used the stone tools in different activities. Stone Age is divided into 3 ages. It means that the Stone Age is divided into 3 ages, and the first one is early or old Stone Age, the second one is middle Stone Age, and the last one is late or new Stone Age. So let us see the one age after another. So by starting with early or old Stone Age, it means that this is the first period of Stone Age. It means that the early or old Stone Age is the first period of Stone Age, and it existed between 1,750,000 BC and 7,500,000 BC. It means that this is the period when early or old Stone Age was occurred or existed. The Zinjanthropus was the only man existed in this period. It means that the Zinjanthropus creature was the only man or creature that was existed in this period or time period. The early stone tools were pebbles and chopping. It means that the early stone tools were pebbles and chopping. These were tools which were made under early or old Stone Age. And man used these tools for killing and skinning animal flesh. It means that these made stone tools that was made during the early or old Stone Age were useful in killing and skinning the fresh animals. Also, those tools were used to dig up the roots. It means that these tools were used in digging up the roots. Also, they were cutting trees branches. It means that those pebbles and the chopping were used in cutting tree branches. And the last one, this means tools or means pebbles, also chopping, were used for defense, for self-defense. It means that the Zinjanthropus were using those tools for defense, cutting tree branches, digging up roots, and killing as well as skinning the animal fresh. So these were the uses of those pebbles and chopping. Man obtained his food by hunting and gathering. It means that during the early or old Stone Age, man obtained his food by hunting and gathering. It means that the man was hunting the wild animals or wild animals and gathering the wild or wild fruits as well as roots. So in this period, man had low ability to control his environment. It means that in this time period of early Stone Age, man had the low ability to control his environment. So on the picture we saw, or on the diagram we see the tools which were made during the sorry, this is not Middle Stone Age, this is early. These are tools for Middle Stone Age. These tools are for Middle Stone Age. These are tools for Middle Stone Age. For Middle Stone Age. So let us see the characteristics. Let us see the characteristics of early or old Stone Age. In East Africa, Stone Age sites are found at Orogosaile, Songhai, and Olduvai Gorge. It means that before looking at the characteristics of early or old Stone Age, let us see the areas or sites where old Stone Age are found. It means at Orogosaile, Songhai, and Olduvai Gorge. These are places or sites where the early stone tools are found. The first characteristics of early or old Stone Age is man lived the primitive life depending on nature. It means that during the early Stone Age, man lived the primitive life depending in nature or in the environment that surrounds him. And the second one, man made and used crude or poor tools. It means that during that stage or that age of early Stone Age, man made and used crude or poor or blunt tools. Also, man lived by hunting and gathering. It means that the creature which existed during that time period were living by hunting and gathering, hunting wild animals and gathering the wild fruits and roots. Also, man ate raw food, for example, meat. It means that during that time, man ate raw food, that was uncooked food like meat or fresh meat. Also, man walked upright. It means that man was walking upright by using 2 foot or rims. Also, man lived in caves, meaning that the settlement for these creatures were caves, meaning that they were living or they are spending their times in caves. And the last one, man did not wear clothes. It means that during this early Stone Age, the man had not or did not wear clothes. So let us see the Middle Stone Age. The Middle Stone Age, and These were the examples of pebbles and chopping. Pebbles and chopping of early Stone Age. Choppings or examples of tools that were used during the early Stone Age, as you see in the picture here. These are the tools which were used. So let us jump to another another Stone Age, which is Middle Stone Age. Middle Stone Age, this stage covered the period between 75,000 BC to 50,000 BC. It means that the Middle Stone Age covered the period from year to year before Christ. This period man improved his stone tools. It means that during the Middle Stone Age, the man improved his tools in manufacturing or in making those tools. Tools were smaller, sharper, and easier to handle. It means that the tools which were made during the Middle Stone Age were smaller, sharper, and easier to handle. That were tools which were made during the Middle Stone Age. And the tools which were made were like spear, arrows, arrows, stone picks, knives, and etc. These were the tools which were used during the Middle Stone Age. And these tools were used in digging up roots, killing and skinning animals, as well as cutting and chopping off. It means that these were the functions of Middle Stone tools which were made, like spear, arrows, needles, stones, picks, and knives. And let us see this was the examples of the Middle Stone Age that were made. So here there is the New Stone Age. The New Stone Age. The New Stone Age, this was the last age in Stone Age, whereby the tools were more improved and advanced than those of Middle and early or the Stone Age. And these tools were like needles, were just needles, more advanced spears, and anvils that were used in different activities. And these tools were sharper, easier, and more improved than on those Middle Stone Age. So the New Stone Age tools were more advanced than all of the previous stone tools. And I didn't project the New Stone Age purposefully. So after finishing the 3 stages in Stone Age, let us go to another part, which is the discovery of fire. The discovery of fire. The discovery of fire, it means that this is another part, which is how man discovered fire. Here we are going to see how man discovered fire and started to benefit from fire and to use fire. Fire was discovered by man who was scratching pieces of wood using his hands. It means that the fire was discovered by man who was scratching pieces of wood using his hands. To mean that you can see that the man was scratching the wood by using his hands, and the fire was produced. The more he continued scratching, the pieces of wood got hit and the smoke came out, and the scratch caused the friction of scratched wood and led to emission of fire. It means that the more he continued scratching the pieces of wood, the wood got hit and the smoke came out, and the scratch caused the friction of scratched wood and led to the emission of fire. That's how man made or discovered fire. Let us see how man's ancestors were making fire. You can see on the diagram here, that is ancestor or creature that's scratching the wood here by using his hands. So it's just scratching that wood with the big wood here and trying to his best that he can produce fire. As he continued to scratch, you can see the smokes was started to be produced or come out, and finally fire was produced, and that's how man's ancestor making fire. So let us see the importance of fire to man. What was the importance of fire to man? Until now, fire is just still important to the human life. The first one was man started to eat roasted food, for example meat. It means that man started to eat cooked food or roasted food, that is meat. It means meat was started to be roasted by using fire. Also, man started to live in cold areas. It means that by that time, before the discovery of fire, man could not be able to live in the cold areas. But once after the discovery of fire, it was managed to live in cold areas because fire was there to provide heat. But also man used the fire to clean bushes. It means that man was using fire to clean the bush, whereby he set up fire and the bush were being cleaned by the fire. And man used the fire to provide light at night. It means that the fire was used to provide light at night. The man means could prepare some woods, and after being scratched, the fire will come out. Also, another woods will be added there, and fire will start to be produced, and that will give the light to that area or surrounding area during the night time. Another fire used to kill small animals, for example rabbit. It means that fire used to kill small animals like rabbits. That was another importance of fire to man. Also, with fire, man increased the working hours. It means that with the use of fire, man increased the working hours. Also, man used fire to attract prey. It means that the man was using fire to attract prey. Prey. This is just like animals that man is intended to catch for food maybe, or for killing that animal which is maybe dangerous like lion. It means that man used the fire to attract prey. Also, or the last one, man used the fire for defense from dangerous animals like lion, cheetah and other dangerous animals. It means that man used the fire to chase or to make defense from the dangerous animal that could attack him. So he used the fire to chase those dangerous animals. So these were the importances of fire or uses of fire to man. And this is common question. It comes even in national examination of ordinary level. So you have to pay much attention on concerning with that area. So the discovery of fire, it took place during the Middle Stone Age. So let us see the general characteristics of Middle Stone Age. So we can see that how fire has been inserted in this place. It is because the fire was discovered during the Middle Stone Age. So let us see the general characteristics of Middle Stone Age. It means that the first one, man discovered fire, as we have seen. Man discovered fire during the Middle Stone Age. Also, man developed some religious beliefs. It means that man started to develop some religious beliefs. Also, man started to live complex life. During the Middle Stone Age, man started to live the complex life. Also, man, it means also man started to live complex life. Also, man's main occupation were hunting and gathering, as well as sedentary or nomadic life. It means that the man's main occupation during the Middle Stone Age was hunting and gathering, as well as sedentary or nomadic life. So that was all about the Middle Stone Age. So let us see the late Stone Age, late Stone Age, or New Stone Age. In East Africa, late Stone Age started from around 50,000 BC to the first millennium AD. It means that the late Stone Age or New Stone Age in East Africa, late Stone Age started from around 50,000 BC to the first millennium after the birth of Christ. In this stage, man used better tools compared to the previous Stone Age. It means that in this stage, man used better tools compared to the previous Stone Ages. And tools become sharper and smaller in size. It means that during the late Stone Age, the tools become sharper and smaller in size. Also, tools were stone axes, blades, spears, arrows, and etc. It means that tools were stone axes, blades, spears, and arrows. And man started the permanent settlement. I mean, in late Stone Age is when man started to live permanent settlement. And the tools were still largely made of stones, but they were far better than those of earlier periods. It means that during the late Stone Age, the tools were still largely made by using stones, but they were far better than those of previous stages or periods. And this period marked the beginning of settled communities. It means that during the late Stone Age or the New Stone Age marked the beginning of settled communities. And in areas such as Kondoa Ilangi, paintings and the drawings in the caves proves this fact. It means that we can evident or witness this by referring the areas like Kondoa Ilangi's paintings and the drawings in the caves prove this late Stone Age, as we can see that the beginning of settled communities was started during the late Stone Age. And the paintings and drawings show the shape of tools used and animal hunted. It means that the paintings which are found in Kondoa Ilangi in Dodoma, it means show the shape of tools used and animal that were hunted by the ancestors or creatures of that time. Let us see the characteristics of the late Stone Age. Man used better tools compared to the previous ages. It means that man used the better tools compared to the previous ages. Also, man started to domesticate plants and animals. It means that it was during the late Stone Age when man started to domesticate plants and animals. Also, man became food producer. It means during the late Stone Age, man started to produce food. And another, the population was increased. It means that it was the period when the population increased because the food was abundant, or there was sufficient of food that increased the population. Also, it was beginning of settled communities and the villages. It means that during the late Stone Age, it was when the settled communities or villages was started. And also, the last one, this period marked to the primarily on the division of labor. It means that this was the period of time when marked the primarily on the division of labor between woman and the man. For example, women become child bearers and carers, while man for protecting the family and hunting. It means that the distribution of labor was started during the late Stone Age, when women become the child bearers and carers of the children, while man for protecting family and the hunting. Let us see the late Stone Age tools which were produced. These are the late Stone Age tools which were produced by that time. So these were almost the ages during the Stone Age, as we have seen that were almost three: the Old Stone Age, the Middle Stone Age, and the last one was Late or New Stone Age. And this marked the end of our ages in Stone Age. And I would like to end up here and to give you some questions which you are supposed to answer. So I would like to give you the exercise which include the 3 questions. And the first one is mention 3 stone ages. The second one is list tools made during late Stone Age. And the last one is fire was discovered during A. Middle Stone Age, B. Late Stone Age, and C is Iron Age. So you have to choose the correct answer in number 3. So that's the end of our lesson or today's class. So I would like to thank you for watching from the beginning until the end of our class. So I wish you the good studies, honest studies, and I welcome you in the next lesson or next class for still learning with Educare Tanzania. So I wish you the good time. Bye.
Purchase your tracks